Have you ever sat quietly in your living room, maybe with a warm cup of tea in your hands, and wondered, when did life become so loud? Not just the noise from outside, but the kind that hums in your mind. The to-do lists that never end. The closets full of things you don't need. The calendar that used to spark joy, but now just feels heavy. As women, we've spent so much of our lives taking care of others. Children, partners, parents, co-workers. We've carried the weight of homes, responsibilities, expectations, and sometimes heartbreak. And in the process, we've picked up so many things, both physical and emotional, that we never had time to sort through. But what if this season wasn't about doing more or holding on tighter? What if it was about gently letting go? Letting go of the things that no longer serve you. The pressure to keep up. The guilt that whispers, you're not doing enough. The idea that your value comes from how much you can carry. This isn't about giving everything away or starting from scratch. It's about something far more powerful. Making room. Room for yourself. For your peace. For the kind of joy that doesn't come from having more, but from needing less. So if you've been feeling a little overwhelmed, a little tired, or just quietly wondering what really matters now, stay with me. You're not alone, and you are not too late. Let's begin this journey together. 1. The weight we don't see. I want to tell you about Margaret. She's 68, a mother of 3, and a widow for just over 6 years. One morning, she stood in her bedroom doorway, staring at her closet. Rows of neatly folded sweaters, shoes lined up by decade. She wasn't looking for anything, just standing there, quietly overwhelmed. Later, she told me, it wasn't the stuff that got to me. It was the stories behind them, the memories, the weight of it all. Margaret still had her husband's coat hanging near the back. She hadn't touched it in years. But when she finally reached for it, something inside her shifted. She sat on the edge of the bed, coat in her lap. And for the first time in a long time, she cried. Not because she missed him more that day than any other, but because she realized how much she'd been carrying. Grief, love, guilt, even fear. All of it, tied up in things she didn't know how to let go of. This is the weight so many of us carry. Not just in our arms, but in our homes, our memories. In the quiet moments between phone calls and meals, we tell ourselves that holding on is strength. That keeping everything, every dish, every photo, every gift, means we're honoring the past. But sometimes, holding on keeps us from moving forward. Sometimes, it crowds out the space we need to breathe. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean throwing away love. It means making room. For clearer memories, for peace for the present. When Margaret began to let go, one drawer at a time, she noticed something unexpected. Her home felt lighter. Yes, but so did her spirit. She started remembering her husband differently. Not through the things, but through stories. The way he laughed when he read the paper. How he danced with her in the kitchen. These memories rose up, clear and warm. Now that the clutter had made space for them, there's a quiet strength in choosing what stays and what no longer serves you. And you don't have to do it all at once. Start with one shelf, one letter, one shirt you've been holding on to just in case. And when you let it go, take a deep breath and say, I'm not losing. I'm making space. So many women, whether 60 or 80, have told me the same thing. The hardest part isn't the work. It's facing the emotions we've buried under busyness. The guilt, the sadness, the fear of forgetting. But when they begin, even slowly, they discover something unexpected. Freedom. Freedom from overwhelm. Freedom from the past holding too tight. And most of all, freedom to step into the life they truly want to live. So I'll ask you gently, what are you still holding on to? Not because it brings you joy, but because you haven't felt ready to let go. What would it feel like to open your hands, even just a little, and begin to release what weighs you down? Not everything needs to go, but not everything needs to stay. You get to choose. And that, in itself, is power. 2. Quiet is not emptiness. There's something many women don't talk about after 60. We get so used to filling every space, every moment, every room, every relationship, that when things finally quiet down, it can feel unsettling. Some call it loneliness. Others call it stillness. But whatever name you give it, that's silence after the kids are grown. The work is done, and the noise fades. It's real, and it can be hard. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She's 64, lives in a small desert town. After retiring, her calendar was packed. Church events, potlucks, grandkids' birthdays, volunteering. She said yes to everything, and she didn't know why she felt so tired, so burned out, so invisible. One day, she canceled a lunch date, not because she was sick, but because she couldn't fake the energy anymore. Instead, she poured herself tea, stepped onto her back porch, and just sat. No music, no phone, just the wind through dry leaves. And then, out of nowhere, she whispered, "I don't want to miss my life," trying to keep up with everyone else's. That moment changed her. Not overnight, but slowly, gently, she began to say no. Evelyn started declining invitations, not with excuses, but with kindness. She stopped showing up to things that drained her. And for the first time in decades, she sat with herself. Not to fix, not to accomplish, but just to be. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable, even scary, like walking into a room and hearing your own thoughts echo. But then, something beautiful happened. In the quiet, she began to hear her own voice again. The one that wrote poems in college. The one that dreamed of opening a garden cafe. The voice drowned out by years of doing, giving, rushing. Quiet isn't emptiness. It's not the absence of life. It's the presence of peace. And sometimes, that quiet is where healing begins. So many of us spend our lives tending to others' needs, forgetting we're allowed to want stillness, forgetting that rest isn't laziness, that solitude isn't shameful, that choosing to be alone doesn't mean being lonely. It can mean being whole. Now, Evelyn starts her mornings differently. She opens her window, takes 10 minutes just to breathe. She told me, at first, it felt like wasting time. Now I know, I was reclaiming it. And that's my invitation to you today. Reclaim your time, not to fill it with tasks or others' expectations, but to sit in the stillness, to discover the rich world inside you. In the quiet, you remember the dreams you had at 16, quieted by responsibility, the joy of painting, dancing, planting tomatoes, the sound of your own laughter when no one's watching. You remember. You're still here, not just as a mother, wife, or caretaker, but as you. And that, my dear, is enough. When we embrace quiet, we reconnect with our intuition, our creativity, our truest desires. That's the joy of missing out. Not missing life, but finally saying no to what doesn't feel like yours. You don't need a full schedule to feel full inside. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to earn your rest. You've already done enough. You've already been enough. Now is the time to slow down now. Not because life is ending, but because something new is beginning. This chapter? It's yours to write. Quieter, yes, but also deeper, richer, more meaningful than anything before. So next time you feel the urge to rush into obligation, pause, breathe, ask, is this for them or for me? Then listen for the quiet answer, because in it, you might just find the peace you've been longing for all along. 3. Stories from the heart. There's power in hearing someone else's story, especially when it sounds like yours. Take June, 72, sitting on her North Carolina cottage steps. Her old house, 5 bedrooms, a basement stuffed with just in case. But after her kids left, the quiet didn't feel peaceful. It echoed. She confessed, "I'd open boxes just to cry, not just because I missed them, but because I didn't know who I was without them to care for." So she did something bold. Sold the house. Moved into a cottage. 1 story. Just enough. For her favorite books, a table for 2, hydrangeas in bloom. And in letting go of stuff, she found herself again. Now, she walks barefoot in morning grass. Bakes bread just for the smell. She laughed. I thought a smaller house meant a smaller life. Turns out, it made space for the one I'd been too busy to live. Then there's Clara, 67, in Michigan. Cleaning her attic, she found a box labeled, "Don't open." Inside, letters. Some unsent. Some too painful to finish. I had no idea how much anger I was still carrying, she said. I'd buried it under sweaters. That day, Clara wrote a new letter, one she mailed. 2 weeks later, her sister called. They didn't fix everything, but they started. And sometimes, that's enough. Clutter isn't just in our homes. It's in our hearts. Old stories, unspoken words, buried hurts. But clearing space outside gives us courage to clear inside. And Rosa, 70, from Texas. For years, shopping was her therapy. Coupons, catalogs, packages piled in the garage. Until she counted 6 unopened boxes and realized, I was trying to fill something, but didn't know what. So she tried something new. Dusted off her paintbrushes. Give away clothes she never wore. No? She paints in morning light. Classical music humming, wearing the same 2 aprons. I didn't find myself in a shopping cart, she smiled. I found her in asterisk brushstrokes. These women aren't gurus. They're real. They've laughed, cried, lost, loved, and learned. The best parts of life aren't in what we hold on to, but in what we let go of. So if your attic's full, your heart heavy, your spirit tired, that's okay. You're allowed to start again, to make your life quieter, smaller, deeper. And remember, every item you release, every burden you set down, it's not just making space in your home, it's making space in you. 4. Wisdom from the ages. This longing for simplicity? It's not new. Centuries before social media and overflowing closets, people asked the same questions we do now. What truly matters? What I need? How do I live in peace? Take Epicurus, the Greek philosopher often misunderstood. He wasn't about indulgence. He was about enough. A simple meal, good friends, peace of mind. He wrote, "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not." How many moments of peace have we missed? Chasing something shinier, louder, newer? Then there's the Zen Buddha. Born into wealth, he left it all behind. Discovering peace wasn't in deprivation or excess, but the middle path. Not too much, not too little, just enough. You don't need to sit under a tree for months to find it. Sometimes, just 5 minutes at dawn, with a warm cup and your phone off. And the Stoics like Seneca, who said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Let that sink in. We're told more is better. More success, more stuff, more attention. But what if better isn't always more? What if better is less? Less noise, less comparison, less need to be everything to everyone. The Stoics taught, want less, suffer less. Because the less we depend on things outside us, the more power we have over our peace. That doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we care differently. We focus on what we can control. Our thoughts, our choices, our responses, and we let go of the rest. Epicurus, the Buddha, the Stoics, their worlds were different. But their wisdom feels written for us, right now, especially for women like you, who've spent decades giving everything to others. You deserve to receive now. Not things, but space, stillness, joy. And you don't need to search ancient texts to find it. Sometimes, peace starts here, in this breath, with one question. What is enough for me? Enough space, enough love, enough quiet, enough time to savor a day without rushing through it. The truth? You already hold this wisdom. These teachings just help you remember what your soul has always known. Life doesn't need to be loud to be meaningful. Peace isn't in the next big thing. It's in the small things, repeated. Wind through trees. A letter from an old friend. Homemade meals savored slowly. A room where every object has purpose. And nothing's there just to impress. Let the world spin fast. You're allowed to move slowly. You've earned that pace. And in that slowness, you might finally hear what your heart's been whispering for years. This is the life I was meant to live. 5. How to begin again. You might think this sounds beautiful, but where do I start? Here's the answer: no rules, no pressure, just possibilities. 1. Let go of 10 things this month. A shirt that doesn't fit. A vase you never liked. Old paperwork. Hold each item and ask, do I use this? Does it bring joy? Or am I keeping it out of guilt, fear, or habit? This isn't about losing memories. It's about lightness. 2. Cook for yourself at least 3 times a week. Not for guests. Not out of duty. Just you, a simple meal and the sacred act of nourishment. 3. Start your day with 10 minutes of silence. No phone. No news. Just you, a window, and the sound of your own breath. 4. Choose 3 people, give them your best time. Not dozens of acquaintances. Just the ones who fill your heart, not just your calendar. 5. Before buying something new, ask, can I live without this? Most times, the answer is yes, and that yes is freedom. Bonus: keep a gratitude notebook. Each night, jot asterisk 3 small things you're thankful for. A cool breeze. A neighbor's smile. An old song on the radio. This habit doesn't erase hard days, but it reminds you. Beauty still exists. A final truth. The older we get, the clearer it becomes. The most precious things can't be bought. Morning light through the window. A grandchild's laughter over the phone. The quiet of your home when everyone's asleep. We find these not when life is full, but when it's quiet. Not when we chase more, but when we ask, what do I really need today? The answer is almost always asterisk simpler than we expect. A simpler life isn't a smaller life. It's one where you can breathe again, where your days feel your own, where your spirit is light, and your time is filled only with what truly belongs. You don't need to change everything today. Just begin. One thing, one breath, one choice to live lighter than yesterday. Because when you clear the space around you, you clear the space within you. And what you find there might just be the part of you that's been waiting all along to come home. If this spoke to you, share one small thing you're ready to release in the comments. Your words might be the encouragement another woman needs. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Here, we celebrate life after 60, not as an ending, but as a chapter rich with peace, power, and possibility. Thank you for being here. Take care of your space. Take care of your asterisk peace. And most of all, take care of your beautiful, ordinary, extraordinary life. Until next time.